Worry Duty is the 21st episode of the first season of The Middle. This is directed by Shallat Chemel, and as always, there will be spoilers from now as I go through the episode and share some thoughts. I don't have a tremendous amount of thoughts with this one. Doesn't mean I didn't enjoy it though. I still think it's a pretty good episode. There's just maybe not a lot of variety in this. Also, it focuses on Morgan, and I don't like Morgan. And I think definitely based on this episode, she's not meant to be a likeable character, so that's absolutely fine. But I'm not a huge fan of her. I'll come back to the main narrative with Morgan in a moment. There is actually one Morgan scene that I loved. I loved it watching it now. I remember loving it when I've seen this episode before. But first of all, Brick is looking after an egg, and he loses the egg. And there will be spoilers. I should point out that I will spoil what happens from this point onwards. And he loses the egg. It turns out the egg has hatched. And we have this rather funny scene, probably one of my two favourite scenes in the episode, when Brick comes home from school and the chick is tweeting at him, trying to get him to play with him. Brick wants to go to the bathroom, but the chick's outside the door. He's basically acting like a parent of a young child. And it's funny, and I liked it, and I thought it was very sweet, and I rather enjoyed it. The main narrative focuses on Axel and Morgan. And, well, actually, there are three scenes that I like. One scene is where Axel, it's a kind of montage of Axel coming in the house at various different phases or stages of his relationship with Morgan. And he's broken up, then he's with her, then she left him, then he has to change. And it's very well executed, and I rather enjoyed it. And interestingly, Frankie didn't know that they were back together again. And Axel had told Mike. And Frankie found out and wondered why Axel hadn't told her. And I think there's a good lesson there that if you are a parent of a teenager, don't behave like Frankie if you want your child to tell you things. Because while she's worrying about Morgan's influence on Axel, she's kind of offloading all of that worry onto Axel, obviously to try and get him to see what she sees, but that's not going to get her very far, and it even pushed her away. And Axel would rather have told Mike, who just didn't say anything about anything. So I think there's a middle ground definitely to be had there. And Frankie is trying really hard. She invites Morgan over to dinner. And the dinner table scene, I love. I just thought it was fantastically executed. And it's basically Morgan just saying, I told Axel. She said, I told Axel to drop Spanish, so now he's taking it too. Referring to Mandarin. I told Axel he needed to start thinking about things like that. Referring to transcripts. I told Axel he should ask for a raise at the theatre, and she just went on and on and on, and it's brilliant. I don't like her, but there's something about that scene that was just very entertaining, and I really thoroughly enjoyed it, and it definitely made her a very unlikable character who came across as very controlling, and I think it really helped to sum her up. Despite all of this, Frankie decides to invite her to a picnic, and Frankie's feeling okay about that. And then she overhears them talking, and Morgan is saying not very nice things. Basically, the Morgan in front of the parents is not the real Morgan. And then we go to the picnic. It's a nice location, nice to be outdoors, and the family's there, and it's really nice. And then Axel, when they're back home, Mike mentions something that Axel needs to do for his sports, and it seems like the relationship might get in the way of that, so now it's Mike's turn to worry. And it was not a bad way to end things. I certainly didn't mind it. It's a good episode. As I said, I don't love Morgan as a character, but I don't think she's meant to be liked. I don't think that at all. So I feel okay about not liking her. In general, good episode from start to finish. Personal highlights. Well, the three things that I've highlighted, really. Axel coming in repeatedly with different stages of his relationship. Morgan saying she told Axel 1,001 things, and Brick trying to look after the chick but just wanting a moment of peace. Sue doesn't have much of a role in this episode, which is not a problem. She has enough to do. She's very happy that Axel is dating the cheerleader, which is nice for Sue, I guess. So a good episode. I don't know if it would be a personal favourite, but I think it's definitely one of the most memorable episodes from season 1. I certainly remembered that table scene very well from back in the day. So I might not be a huge fan of Morgan, but nevertheless, I thought Worry Duty was still a pretty good episode.